right, check your warm-up for October 7th, or actually for October 8th, Thursday. So in this first one, you have P plus R plus Q squared times R minus R. So P is 10 plus R is 1 plus Q squared. Well, Q is a negative 1, so if you're going to square it, you want to be sure to put parentheses around it before you square it. And then negative 1 squared is times, parentheses, by R minus R. Well, R minus R is 1 minus 1, which really is 0. So if you're using a calculator, you just put all that in the calculator. If you want to do it without a calculator, 10 plus 1 equals 11. Negative 1 squared, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So it becomes positive 1 times 1 minus 1. Well, that's 0. So that equals 11 plus 1 times 0. 1 times 0 is 0, so it's plus 0, so the answer is 11. Okay, number 2, solve each equation, use distributive property, and then combine like terms and solve for the variable. So we have negative 8 times 1. Negative 8 times 6 is minus 48x, and you got plus 1 equals negative 199. So first, before we solve, we have to combine like terms. So you want to take the negative 8 plus 1. Negative 8 plus 1. That becomes negative 7 minus 48x equals negative 199. So now you want to solve for x. So we go plus 7 plus 7. That cancels out. You're left with negative 48x equals negative 199 plus 7, negative 192. Divide by negative 48, divide by negative 48. So x equals 4. All right, number 3. What's the area and circumference of a circle with a radius of 4.2? See how I underline all the important math words. Use 3.14 for pi, round to the nearest tenth, put your unit in your answer. So area equals pi times the radius squared. Pi is 3.14 times the radius, 2 squared equals. Put that in the calculator, 3.14 times 4.2 squared. I like using the squared button instead of that. I don't like using that because it's an extra step. Equals 55.389. 55 point what? It says round to the nearest tenth. So 3/8. The 8 makes the 3 round up to a 4. Since it's more than 5, 8 is more than 5. 5 or more, you round up. So that 3 becomes a 4. And that's area, and that's centimeters, so it's centimeters squared. All right, circumference is C equals 2 times 3.14 pi times the radius, 4.2. You just put all that in the calculator. Just times 2 times 3.14 times 4.2 equals 26.37. That 7, 5 or more, makes that 3 round up to a 4. It's just centimeters since it's circumference. Remember, circle looks like this. The radius is halfway. The area is everything on the inside. The circumference is on the outside. How far around? That's the circumference, like the earth. How far around the earth? What's the circumference of the earth? All right, number 4. What's the area and perimeter of a rectangle that is 3.8 by 2 inches? So what's the formula for area of a rectangle? Length times width. So that's 3.8 times 2 equals 7.6. And it's inches squared. And then what's the formula for a perimeter? All the way around? Well, we normally go length plus width plus width. That's too much. So 2 times length plus width. Just add the length and the width one time, but multiply it by 2, and that's the same thing as going length plus width plus width. So it equals 2 times 3.8 plus 2 equals. So I'm going to go 2 parentheses 3.8 plus 2 parentheses, and that equals 11.6 inches. Okay, number 5. Draw a right triangle that has a base of 1.8 and a height of 2.4. And then what is a perimeter? So we're going to draw a right triangle. It's 1.8, 0, 1.85, 6, 7, 8 right there. Turn it up. That's 1.8. 2.4. Put that on the edge. Make sure it's straight on the edge. I'm going to go to 2.4. So 2.4 is right below 2.5. 2.4 is right there. So then what's the hypotenuse? So if I line up the ruler right at the edge, put it there. Looks like it's maybe 3.1, maybe 3.2. Oh, maybe just right at 3, maybe. I don't know. Looks like it's right at 3. So let's see. Let's check. Use the Pythagorean theorem. 2.4 squared plus 1.8 squared, and what does that equal? Nine. Oh, yep, right on. Square root of 9. What's that? Square root of 9 is 3. Perfect. Look at that. It matches. Yay. Perfect. So now how do I get the perimeter? Well, I take these 3 numbers and I add them. So I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way without a calculator, because we need to get in the habit of doing that. So you line everything up. 3 is the same as 3.0. You want to line up your decimals. It's very important. You don't want to write 3 here, because 3 is a whole number, so it comes in front of the decimal. So 8 plus 4, 9, 10, 11, 12. Carry the 1. Bring down the decimal. 3, I always start with the bigger number. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7.2. So 7.2 is the perimeter. And reroute it to the nearest tenth. Alright, and then what's this area and perimeter of a square? Alright, well, what's the formula for a square? Area and perimeter of sides of 6.8. It's just side squared. So it's just 6.8 squared. What's the formula for perimeter of a square? It's 4 times the side. So it's just 4 times 6.8. That's it. Oops. So we go 6.8 squared equals 46.2. We're rounding to the nearest tenth. So that 4 makes that 2 stay the same because it's less than 5. And then 4 times 6.8, 27.2. There you go. And that's it. That's all your answers for today. Give yourself a big check. Take a picture. Submit it. Submission. Turn in. Get a grade for it. Alright, and then next we are going to review how to use the distance formula for area and perimeter in a coordinate plane. You'll work with partners, and then you have an exit ticket.